Hello, I'm Dan Scott. I do bankruptcy work, wills and probate, and sometimes litigation. This is video number 4. It's the final video in my mediation series. What is a mediation? Video 1, what is a mediation? Video 2, what happens at the mediation? Video 3, how can you prepare and assist during the mediation? I hope you saw all of those. If you didn't, go search them out and watch them all. This is video 4 though, and video 4 is what can you do to sabotage the mediation. You know, when I was making that name out, I thought, well, you know, you're going to look at this, you're going to say, well, I will do nothing to sabotage the mediation. Well, that's a good decision on your part. But can I tell you, after years and years of doing mediations, sometimes clients do come into the mediation with an intention to sabotage it. You know, they don't want the other side to win. They don't want the other side to be right. They don't want the other side to see that they've got an advantage or to think they have an advantage, okay? So what I want you to do is listen to these tips on how best to sabotage your mediation, and don't do them. Don't do them. Okay, tip number 1. Plan in advance what the outcome's going to be no matter what, okay? Some folks tell me when they meet me at the mediation center or at the lawyer's office, you know, they tell me, said, look, if I don't get X, let's just say $30,000. If I don't get $30,000, there's no way I'm going to settle this case. You know what? I don't want you to do that. That will help sabotage your case. You know why? Because your mindset is already put up a barrier to resolution of the case. $30,000 may be a good deal. But what if $30,000 is not on the table, right? What if after you go through all the mediation and $28,000 is on the table, and now you sabotage the mediation in your mind because of what? Because you've already committed in your mind, in your spirit, I'm not taking less than $30,000. So the first thing is if you want to sabotage your mediation, get in your mind what you absolutely must have. You must have no matter what's said. So don't do that, will you? The second thing is, don't get mad at the mediation. You know, I've had clients get up and stomp out of the mediation. The mediator said something to the client was offended by it, and they just said, I'm not taking this. And they got up and walked out. Well, you know, what's happened in that case is you spent the money on your lawyer to be there. You spent the money on the mediator because you're going to have to bear half the cost of the mediator. And now your case doesn't get resolved. Try your best to control your emotions in the mediation, and don't get up and walk out of the mediation. When you walk out of the mediation, say to yourself, well, I did everything I could to get this case resolved, because that's what the mediation is all about. If you want to try to sabotage your mediation, get mad, pitch a fit, rush out of there. You know, you'll feel good about that. But you know what will happen tomorrow? You'll have less money in your pocket, and your case will not be resolved, okay? So, you know, don't let your emotions get the best of you. Number 3, don't cut the mediation short. You know, I've done mediations for 2 hours, and, you know, a client get, what you call restless, right? They get restless, and they say, well, you know, I'm not sitting here anymore. Well, they've been back there too long. How come it's taking so long? Well, sometimes mediations take a little while, okay? So give the mediation time. You want to sabotage the mediation? You set a time limit on it. You set a time limit on it. If this mediation goes over 2 hours, if this mediation goes over 3 hours, I'm getting up and walking out. So you don't want to do that if you really want the mediation to be resolved. And then tip number 4, don't get mad at your lawyer. Don't get mad at your lawyer. You know, if you go to the mediation and your lawyer tells you, look, you really ought to take this. You said you're not taking, no way you're taking less than $30,000. That's what you told him on the front end. And now you're at $26,000. And your lawyer says, look, man, you'd be crazy not to take this money. This is a good deal for you. And you get mad at your lawyer. You want to sabotage your mediation? Get mad at your lawyer. That's one way to do it. I can tell you, after doing years and years of mediation and years of litigation, your lawyer is there looking out for you. You know what? Your lawyer is not afraid to go to court. Your lawyer's not afraid to try this case. You know, the lawyer, actually, if he or she's a trial lawyer, they like to try cases. You know, they like the excitement that goes in that final preparation and getting your file ready to close that day and go in and then present your case. They like it. I'm going to tell you, I like it. But what I like more is my client to be in control of the mediation. I like my client to be in control of the result. And you know, if you get mad at your lawyer, you're going to lose control of the result. So don't do that. Now, there's just some tips on how you can sabotage the mediation, right? But I don't want you to do that. What I want you to do is use your mediation to resolve your case. It's in your best interest. It's in your family's best interest. If you're there on behalf of your company or another company, it's in their best interest. The mediation is probably the one time that you can get the highest likelihood of a good result and you have control over it, okay? Not have a third party like a judge or jury make a decision for you. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this mediation series, What is a Mediation? And if you have, why don't you subscribe to the channel if you're on YouTube, or like the channel if you're on Facebook, like the page if you're on Facebook. If you know a friend that would like to have it, the series, send it to them. You might want to remind them that there's 4 of them, although they see it every time. If you know somebody's going through a divorce, they're going to go through mediation. Wouldn't it be great if you would send these to them and then they have a little better education about the mediation process?